into computer science in the university, and just realized like, this is terrible. Like, I learned all this a long time ago from the majority of it, and then it was like, I'm not learning anything here, and everyone's not interested in actually learning stuff. And then we had a good professor, though, that Dr. Bouvier, who did give us some legitimate things where he was like, we're going to learn assembly, which is very, very pretty hard to like wrap your head around, because you were more or less writing the ones and zeros that go into the computer, but the ones and zeros are kind of set up in where you translate them to words. And so it's very low level, pretty hard to learn, and one of the challenging classes in the thing. But his thing was like, okay, imagine you're building the lunar rover and you've got a camera, and the camera sends you some data, and you just have this jumble of ones and zeros, and we need to compress that and send it back to Earth. So how do you take this image and shrink it? And what you need to do is you need to go through the image, and the image is a bunch of pixels and the color for every pixel. So what you can do is you can pull out all of the colors in that image and build a little table of all your colors, right? So you build up this little table, a list of colors, and then you replace all the pixels in the image with their matching ID.
Wow.
So
you don't have to handle all colors. You only have to handle the colors that happen to be in that picture.
Yeah. And so you also, any duplicate colors get shrunk a whole lot, because instead of recording the color 2 times, which is more data, more text, you can just say, this is that color, color 1. This is color 1. This is color 1. So we only have to store color 1 one time, and then no matter how many pixels we have, we just tell it which color it was. So that compresses it, and that saves quite a bit of data, especially probably on the moon, where it's a lot of grays and, dark colors and stuff. It's a simpler, example, but it worked really well. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like, I have no problem solving these kinds of problems. Like, they're practical and they're fun. Like, this is something I could see doing in a job. But most of the rest of the stuff we did wasn't really that practical. But the final project, we have 2 semesters to build a project for one of the departments in the university. So we ended up working for the admissions department. They needed to give tours of campus. You would fill out some information on their website, and their previous system was this. You'd fill out some information like your name and your email and what day and time you want to come. And then that goes and submits it to a thing that sends them an email, and then they copy that email into a spreadsheet, and then they have several people working on the spreadsheet, which accidentally copies it sometimes, and then they have 2 copies that they have to go back and try and merge at some point manually. And we were like, oh, we can build this. Like, we can build something better and fix it with Rails. So that was my senior project, a really good practical thing. And so I actually built that, and we finish, and it's the end of the semester, and the departments it's kind of one of those things where it's an academic project where you might do your senior project, but no one ever uses it at the end because you leave, you graduate. But I was like, I really want them to use it. Maybe I can convince them to pay me for it, and I'll work on it, on my free time or whatever if they need any changes to it. So I actually convinced the school to pay me $5,000 a year to continue working on that, which is really cool. So that ended up, I did that for several years, which was neat because it was like, I kind of hacked the system where they paid me for my, senior project, and it covered like some pretty decent bills for college. Yeah, man, that'd be
great.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this podcast short. You can find the rest of the interview on my channel. If you like this video, I hope you'll hit the like button and consider subscribing. I release a new interview with an interesting person every Wednesday morning.